First, remove the ultrasonic scalpel by pushing it out with your fingers through the hole in the back. The power cord is connected to the generator and the socket in turn. The foot pedal connector is plugged into the interface on the back of the generator, according to the color of the transducers. Insert them into the front panel of the generator corresponding to the color of the interface. Red for the ultrasonic knife, yellow for the rebirth knife. Please do not mix them. To remove the transducer, hold the non-slip ring behind the mark with your fingers and slowly and firmly pull the transducer connector out of the generator. Note, in the installation, removal process to prevent the transducer fall and collision with hard objects, except for the absence of special circumstances. You can choose to not unplug the transducer cable from the generator at the end of the procedure. Pick up the scalpel vertically. Insert the transducer into the back end of the ultrasonic scalpel. Hold the handle and transducer with one hand. The other hand clockwise rotate the round dial in the front of the handle. After the dial is not moving, rotate the gray torque wrench clockwise, and then hear the click-click to sounds, indicating that the transducer and the scalpel connection is complete. Remove the gray torque wrench by pressing the handle trigger to close the jaw. After powering on the generator, it automatically enters into the self-test mode. Press any button min or max to pass the self-test. Release the button after passing the self-test. If the generator has been connected to the rebirth knife, self-test can be initiated either via the manual control switch or the foot switch. Test max, min, and EdVV mode, respectively. Press the three buttons. The generator issued different working sound, indicating that the three modes work properly. The max button corresponds to level 5. Mainly used for rapid cutting of tissues containing small amounts of capillaries, and cutting of vessels after completion of coagulation and other procedures. The min button corresponds to level 1 to 4, mainly used for coagulation of blood vessels 5 mm and below, and cutting of capillary-rich tissue and other procedures. The min button is adjusted on the screen. The lower the setting, the slower the speed, and the better the coagulation effect. The corresponding mode when the EdVV key activated is the advanced cutting and coagulation mode, which is unique to us. It is mainly used for safer and more thorough coagulation of blood vessels of 5 mm and below, which are rich in blood supply and complicated, with higher safety margin of vessel burst pressure, providing doctors with more robust surgical solutions. The working surface is mainly used for clamping, coagulation, cutting, coagulation of blood vessels. Use the min or EdVV mode to seal twice on the proximal end and once on the distal end. The sealing duration for each application should be a few seconds, depending on the vessel diameter and wall thickness. When the coagulation is completed, use min to cut off the closed area of the blood vessel. When using the working surface for cutting, the operation should be carried out in accordance with the rule of 3-3 rule, that is, 2/3 clamping and triangular pulling. When the jaws of the cutter head clamp the tissue to be cut, the first 2/3 of the working surface should be used to clamp the tissue. When cutting tissue or sealing blood vessels, the tip should be slightly upturned to create a triangular tissue tension at the point to be cut. If you need to remove the ultrasonic scalpel, press the trigger to close the jaw. Insert the gray torque wrench into the bottom of the shaft. Hold the scalpel handle and transducer with one hand, and turn the torque wrench counterclockwise to remove the ultrasonic scalpel. In the process of surgery, installation, removal, cleaning, and sterilization, please do not contact with metal, bone tissue, and other hard objects, so as not to break the scalpel. Next is the installation and use of the rebirth knife. First, manually screw the cutter head of the rebirth knife clockwise to the transducer, and after manually tightening it, use a metal wrench to tighten it. When using a metal wrench, use your thumb and forefinger to hold the head of the wrench. Use your middle finger against the handle of the wrench, and tighten it slowly and with slight force in the clockwise direction. When you slightly feel that you can't unscrew it, take off the wrench, put on the silicone sheath. Press the button or step the foot pedal to pass the self-test. and then you can use the rebirth knife after the self-test. When operating with the rebirth knife, you should first press the button or step the foot pedal to activate the scalpel, and then contact the tissue for the operation. Knife-shaped rebirth knife is divided into a blade and a back. The thinner side is the blade and the thicker side is the back. Knife-shaped rebirth knife is mainly used for cutting surgery. Through the foot pedal to stimulate, it can realize the role of coagulation while cutting during the operation. Because it works by ultrasonic mechanical energy as the source, it does not produce a lot of smoke during the cutting process, and the thermal damage to animal tissues is very small. The doctor can adjust level in the operation according to the situation of the tissue. For the less capillary muscle tissue, tissue can use level 4 for rapid cutting. For capillary-rich or high coagulation requirements of the tissue, the doctor can adjust the screen to reduce the level. The lower the level, the better the coagulation effect, the slower the cutting speed. When using the knife-shaped rebirth knife, as far as possible to keep the knife blade and the tissue to maintain vertical cutting. Annular rebirth knife is mainly used for the cleaning of the lesion tissue and play the role of coagulation at the same time. The doctor can adjust level in the operation according to the situation of the tissue. For the less capillary muscle tissue, fat tissue can use level 4 for rapid cleaning. For capillary-rich or high coagulation requirements of the tissue, the doctor can adjust the screen to reduce the level. The lower the level, the better the coagulation effect, the slower the cleaning speed. Spherical rebirth knife is mainly used for spot coagulation and surface coagulation of bleeding tissue. For spot coagulation, the blade is placed close to the tissue and held still for small-scale coagulation. For large-scale surface coagulation, the blade is moved slowly against the tissue to form a coagulation surface. For larger areas of tissue with less bleeding, the doctor can use level 4 for rapid coagulation. And for larger amounts of bleeding, the doctor can lower the level through the screen for complete coagulation. After the surgery, press the switch to shut down the machine.